everybody, welcome back to the True North Life Homestead. Today I'm going to teach you how I like to make bath bombs. So when I make bath bombs, there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. Out there on the internet, there is a plethora of people that have tried to do this in the past, and I'm sorry to tell you, but you're just going to have to find the recipe that works best for you. Depending on where you live in the world, so your humidity, even in your house, or even your sea level, can determine the recipe that you need to use. So no matter, the basics are the same, but you're gonna have to mess around with your humidity or your moisture levels in your bath bombs, no matter where you are in the world, no matter how much great advice I give you, because you're just in a different spot than I am. So I'm going to show you how I make these beautiful bath bombs. You can see in front of me, I have a couple of them here. So you don't have to stick to the traditional round. This guy is a beautiful heart shape. I believe I also hid some jewelry inside of that one. I can't remember which one it was. So hopefully it is that one. I also have a couple of seashell ones. This one is a pink and blue marbled. And I also have done charcoal mixed in as well, and those guys are a little bit bumblebee-esque. You can go traditional, large, round. And again, I've got a different color heart here with me as well. These ingredients that I'm going to show you today are not also limited to what you can use for bath bombs. You can also use similar ingredients to make things like bath crystals, as well as shower steamers, which I'm not going to show you how to make today, but they are also options that you can use for yourself. So the first thing that we're going to start with is I've got 3 bowls of white powder in front of me. But one of them, this one, is a ½ cup of baking soda, and that's going to go into ours. These powders are all the same no matter where you are. So ½ cup of baking soda, ¼ cup of cornstarch. Cornstarch is super duper powdery, so be careful on how fast you use it. Also, if you have any clumps in your powders, you want to make sure that you smush them out before you get too far and add your water or your wet ingredients into this mixture, because if you have a bunch of clumps there, it just won't fizz up properly, won't look as nice. So you want to have that nice smooth consistency through your bath bombs to make sure you get the best option. The next ingredient we're going to have, so we've got ½ cup of baking soda, ¼ cup of cornstarch, and then we have a ¼ cup of citric acid. This is the stuff that makes things sour if you're looking at culinary options, but this here is also the stuff that reacts with the water. So the baking soda and cornstarch just kind of gives it a little bit of more substance so that it doesn't just go into as soon as you throw it into the water. It lets it fizz out and gives it more of a effect than just kind of fizzling out in the water right away. So after you've mixed those, you're going to give them a stir to make sure that they are all nicely combined. This doesn't take too long, but you want to make sure that you've kind of got everything in there as well. At this point, if you would like as well, you can also add a ¼ cup of Epsom salts. I am not going to put any Epsom salts in this one, just I don't know, just because I don't want to. And all of these ingredients as well are all food grade. This is stuff that I pulled out of my pantry to be able to make this bath bomb, because I'm going to have a bath later and I would like to have something a little bit extra in it for a little bit of fun. So those are our dry ingredients. Next is the wet ingredient part, which is going to differ a little bit for you depending on where you are, like I mentioned before. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to take a teaspoon, and we are going to use 1 teaspoon to start of oil. You can use castor oil if you'd like. You can use grapeseed oil. You can use any kind of oil really that you want. I am using a baby oil that has aloe and vitamin E infused into it because it's just a more budget-friendly option. But if you've got a little bit more money that you can spend on the castor or the avocado oil or any of the fancier oils, don't be afraid to use them. As long as they're rated to be good for your skin, for hydration, then you can use them in this, because again, as much as this comes out of our pantry, it is for our bodies on the outside, not on the inside. So if you want to go a little bit different, you absolutely can. And then I am next going to add my fragrance oil. Today I'm going to be using the sweet orange essential oil. You do have to put more essential oils than you would think in here. Some people say like 1 or 2 drops. That's not typically the case. Sometimes I find that if you want a stronger smell that will kind of fill the bathtub and give you more of an aroma scent, you probably want to head more for the 20 to 40 drops. And if you just want something there just for something to smell nice and light, if you're a little bit more sensitive to scents, then I would recommend going a little bit lighter on it and sticking more to the maybe 5 to 15 range for your drops. Next, I am also going to add coloring. Because I'm doing orange, I'm going to go for an orange color. So I'm going to do red and yellow drops. This is just food coloring that you have at the store. Again, totally safe. You can go crazy and you can get the mica powders and all that kind of stuff that gives you a more vibrant color. But for today, this is for my own personal use. So I'm not really going for anything super crazy. I'm going to do 1, 2. There is water inside of the colorants, so you're going to see them bubble up just a little bit here when those go in, and you can hear it as well. I'll show you. So that is what our mixture looks like so far. Oh, there it all goes at the bottom. I want you to see this. There we go. So they kind of turn into little bubbles because they react, they puff up. I won't grab it because it's colorant, but you can see on the side there how they've kind of turned into bubbles because they're reacting with the citric acid. Our oil, you can see over here, hasn't reacted with the citric acid because it's an oil, it's not water-based. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir just to make sure that I like the colorant that's in there at the moment. I think I'm going to have to add a little bit more in there just because I let it sit for a second. But we want to make sure again that we're getting that smooth, consistent approach to this guy, and then after it is all mixed in and all colored up, that's when we'll add our water. If you're having problems mixing the colorant in as well, then you may want to try and have a little bit of, if you can have the oil, or maybe a little bit add to the water so the water goes in colored. But remember, since we are using a water-based, it's going to react with it. So the more you add, the more citric acid you're reacting, the less you'll have in your bath. So as long as you don't go super crazy. The other thing to remember too is that it is a white powder. So whatever you're putting into you, if you're going for a super strong, vibrant color, you're going to have to add more of it into this, the mixture in order to get that nice vibrant color. Otherwise, you're going to end up with kind of plain tones to it. So I added mostly red there, so now it's kind of a pink. And in goes the yellow to balance it out. Hopefully we'll get some kind of a smooth orange. And again, you can go out and you can buy soap colorants that are mica powders, or you can get probably non-water-based colors that do really well. This is just what I use because it's what's available, and it's easy to replenish, and it's not bad for you. You want to stay away from aluminum-based, so anything you can get that's aluminum-free is perfect. So if you grab it right now, you can kind of make a clump, but you see how it's still like it just falls apart. It's like a nice light powder. We want it to be more of a sand consistency so that when you make a ball, a fist, it stays in that ball and doesn't crumble when you poke at it. So what we're gonna do now to make a ball, but you can see as soon as I touch it, it falls to pieces. And that's not the consistency that we're looking for. We're looking for something that stays together a lot better. So now is when we're gonna add our water. Another tip for you guys out there too, if you are making these for gifts for other people, which these make awesome gifts, but be careful, and I would always recommend that you would use gloves when you're doing it for sanitary purposes. So right now I'm gonna start off with a teaspoon, and we're just gonna go around. You can see it'll start to react. I'm gonna mix it in, and right now I'm just gonna add water until I get it to the consistency that I like. If you live in a more humid climate, you might have to go less. If you live in a drier climate, you might have to go a little bit more. It is dry out right now, so even depending on the seasons, it can change what you have to do. I typically have to do 2 in this area. And again, you want to smoosh it in there really good so that it gets everywhere. And then now that I've done 2, I'm just going to double check, see what I like. So you can see how it stays together, and it kind of stays together a little bit better in your hand. I'm going to do a little bit more just to get this a little bit extra. I'm not going to do a whole one though, I'm going to do a half. If you add too much, then as your bath bombs are starting to dry, they will fizz up and they'll kind of explode. And if you overdo it, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But this, if you get the balance just right, then it will be a beautiful bath bomb when it comes out. So that's right about where I want it. Now for molds, if you're gonna you can make funky ones where, like, I've got the shell, I've got the bigger balls, I've got the heart. This guy actually was a 2-part, so it was an egg that I got for Christmas The bigger balls that I used were actually Christmas, like DIY Christmas ornaments. So they sit together really nicely. You just break them apart. Anything that you can mold it together inside of that you have access to is perfect. You don't have to go crazy. I'm going to use stainless steel ones that are meant for bath bombs, but you don't really have to do it that crazy. The only thing is to remember that if you can put it inside, it's good. Or like, I mean, you could even use a cookie cutter, like sand cutters. You can use pretty much anything out there that you'd like, but I'm going to add more on top. You can see how much it stacks up above where I'm holding it, or above the canister that it's in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smush them together. Wipe off the excess on the outside, give it another press so that it's nice and tight. And there was a little bit of water inside the container, so I can hear it fizzing. But container off. There you go. So you can see that's what it'll look like. We even have a nice little small bottom. So usually what I do is I'll leave it in here like this for a half an hour, letting it dry, and then I will flip it and take the other side off. And I'm going to keep doing that until I have all of my bath bombs done. But basically that is all that you need to know for bath bombs. So this guy is going to come out. He's going to be absolutely beautiful. Smells absolutely amazing. He's got a beautiful sweet orange scent from our essential oils. And you can make these into anything. You can add peppermint to them. You can add eucalyptus. Often what I like to do with my more citrusy scents is to put them together with a little bit of eucalyptus, because I find that it enhances their scent. So lemongrass and eucalyptus is often really great. The only thing I will mention is that if you can add glitter to it too as well if you'd like. If you are going to add glitter to it, just be careful, because you are going to be putting glitter into your bathtub, and glitter is hard to get out anyway, and then you add water to it. It's a pain in the butt. Same with the charcoal. If you have a lot of charcoal going on, then it can stick to the side of your bathtub, especially with the DIY versions. So just be careful about what you're doing, or just be conscious that you're going to have to do a little bit of cleaning afterwards. So there we go. Right there. Took us, what, 30 seconds to do that, really, in real time. I've got 2 bath bombs. I've got a little bit left over that I'm going to go grab another mold for in a minute, just so I don't lose it. But if you do have some left over and you don't want to use it right away, you can also just let it dry a little bit on a sheet, and then you can crumble it up and you can turn it into a bath powder. This stuff will still fizz, and I can show you actually what it looks like when it touches the water. So I'm just going to show you really quick what it looks like when it hits water. So this is water here, and this is what happens when our bath bomb hits it. So you can see, because we added that cornstarch as well, there's still a little bit of a chunk, so it lasts a little bit longer than if it was just citric acid. And it just fizzes away, and it smells amazing. And that is a total relaxation bubble right there. So like I mentioned, when you have a little bit too much water, it starts to bubble up. You can see on the side there, right about there, that it's already starting to bubble up a little bit. There's a little bit of water left on the inside of that mold. So right in that spot, it's going to bubble up a little bit, because it's slowly reacting with the water that's inside, that's on that surface. This guy will be lumpy, but this guy over here, he looks pretty good. Oh, we have one more spot. So there you go. We got a little bit of water on these guys. But for the most part, that's going to be our bath bomb. So I totally bath like a crazy lady, but this is my TV that I use in the bathroom when I'm having my bath time so that I can watch my shows. I set a series of small fires that smell really great, and I always have bubbles because it's a bubble bath. My bath pillow, freaking awesome. But if you guys have not heard of this soap company, they are really great. They use local goat's milk, and it's made in Canada, so I absolutely love it. Super good for your skin. Works amazing. Love that. We put Epsom salts in here as well. And usually I'll grab myself a snack or something so that I can have it in my bathtub. I always go to have a shower too before I get in the bathtub, because that is gross to be sitting in your own filth for that long, especially after working on a farm all day. So yeah, that's kind of my general bath setup and how I like to do it. So I hope that you found making bath bombs super useful, and that if you're going to do it for yourself or you're going to do it for friends or family, that you have a great time doing it. You get to customize it any way that you want. It is super rewarding, lots of fun, and it's way cheaper than going to the store and buying them from anywhere, even if you have to get the supplies. And because most of the stuff can be found in your pantry, you might already have most of the things to get it done right now. So I hope you guys, if you enjoyed this video, you will hit that like and that subscribe button, and leave us a comment in the comment section down below if you really did find this useful, because we love hearing from you guys. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!
We can pretend that we're just friends, yeah, but who are we kidding? We can pretend that we feel nothing, but if you're game, I am willing.